Things we hate, number 1.
Frank.
Frank.
Great intro, everybody.
Frank.
Great intro, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Two Guns, No Ammunition. I'm Billy Two Guns. We are No Ammunition, and I got to tell you, I, for one, stuck to the plan because somebody reminded me, and wore pants I don't usually wear.
Wee-hoo.
Look at these very sexy jeans, Chris. What do you think of that? Woo-woo. They may look like $10 leggings that I bought at Acme out of their leggings bin for some reason, but they are, in fact, very expensive European style tight skinny jeans. And I wore underwear for you so that you couldn't see my secrets. I might have visible panty lines, but I figured you got to keep it under control.
I don't know. That might be a look.
Yeah.
I like
Apparently,
secrets.
some people like panty lines.
I like it when they're grandma panty lines.
Granny
secrets.
Granny lines.
My sexy seams.
Give me all your seams.
All right, Chris, introduce
What
yourself.
was that from? I remember.
Another episode.
Sexy
All of your
seams.
seams belong to us.
Hey, that's an old thing.
Come on, Chris, introduce yourself.
I'm Chris, because Bill told me to tell everyone that I'm Chris, and Bill really is wearing jeggings, and I'm sitting on a very small couch next to him wearing these jeggings.
Control yourself.
I don't think they're even considered actual jeggings because jeggings are a little more convincingly jeans.
Who are you?
I am Genevieve. I am not wearing leggings.
That was like, who are you to judge me for wearing these?
No, we're trying to get around the introduction.
I'm Jake.
It's all about the pants.
I am Jake. Since we non-legging wearers have not been describing what we're actually wearing, I too am not wearing leggings.
Aha.
Tremendous.
They'll never tell us apart.
But more importantly, welcome back. It's episode 66, you bitches. You dumb whores.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Guys, it's Bill's dad, all right? We can't
So we
we can't insult him like that.
we have we have to recognize that somebody has produced a really good game because we've gotten to the point where Chris and I were talking about a game before we talk on our gaming podcast, and that game is Magic the Gathering Arena. And well, you said, Chris, you're taking a you have to take a break because
Yeah, I'm taking a break. I was playing so much. Like, it was like I got home from work, the first thing I booted up was Magic the Gathering because I needed to get my daily bonuses in.
Yep. I catch myself doing that too, and I'll
Like,
tell you,
it starts becoming your routine.
I always mean to play like a half an hour.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm like,
Good luck.
let me just modify my deck a little bit, and then I play it, and it's garbage.
Well, dude, like, the games go so quick on Arena, like, versus like when you're actually playing with paper cards. So it's like you'll do like 10 games and you're like, fuck, there goes an hour.
Right.
Like, whoa.
What has gotten me, and I'm really sucking pretty hard, is the concede
Whoa.
function is not fast enough for me. It's got like a 4-second animation where your little character blows
Oh, yeah, and
up.
like it dims away.
Yeah, and I like immediately, I'm like, I'm going to lose, concede, and it, hurry up, get me to another game.
But you know what? The wait time usually isn't too bad, though. I don't think I've waited more than like 45 seconds to get into a game.
I have had some bugs in the game. And
Really?
one time that I was waiting, quote unquote, and it just went on for 5 minutes. So I had to kill the game. Yeah, I've been running into some problems. It just gets hung up, or I'm having a lot of trouble staying connected to the server. I don't know if you're seeing it.
No, I'm not having any of that. What I do find really annoying, and I really hope they figure this out when the beta's done, is when there's an update, you have to go to the site and get the installer again.
Oh, no.
And then do it. Like, it just doesn't. It'll tell you that that there's an update ready. Won't let you play until you get this update, but you have to go to magicthegatheringarena.com or whatever and get the new installer.
It does kind of stink. Let me think. I tried to do the traditional, like, best of 3.
Yeah, I love it.
I can't find it.
It's there.
It's just like,
Oh, that was what I was telling you guys about. Remember when I was bitching about that little switch there?
well, that's the thing. I
Chris
hit the
sound.
little switch to go to advanced view, and it literally, for me, it's the exact same menu.
Really?
It's the
no,
exact
it's supposed to have more.
It is the same menu. Wait,
Well,
are you
you're
like
getting
supposed to
fucked.
scroll down or something?
No.
That's the same thing.
It's literally the Switch. That's what everyone was bitching about for like new players not being able to find BO3.
Yeah, I thought maybe I was just insane, but it was like it's the exact. The screen change. Like it goes dark and then comes back or whatever. Does a little transition, but it's the same stuff.
No, there's more there. It just says traditional.
Well, it already says traditional on my landing page, and then I click it, and it's the same traditional, but it's like this weird draft style. Traditional draft. I can't go with my
really?
Yeah, I can't go with my pre-made deck.
Drafting.
You sure?
Mm-hmm. I clicked on it.
Wait, it drafts your own deck, or I'm confused.
It's a
Your
pre-made
opponent.
deck that you're required to use, the one that you did not make.
Oh, okay.
So you like whatever you get, you have to work with it.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Work with it.
So anyhow,
Work it.
I have been playing it a couple hours every night. I only mean to play for a little bit of time, but it's just like those you can make little changes and then
you got to try it out for 50 more rounds. Make sure it works.
And then you're like, oh, well, somebody just used this big boss daddy card on me. I guess I better go try to get it. And then I got to try to earn wild cards. And now I got to this point. I'm like, oh, yeah, I just need this one card. I'll add it to my deck. And it goes, you cannot redeem this using wild cards. I was like, oh, because it's a rare level and I'm all out of rares. All I have are uncommon. So now, of course, I burned through all my uncommons because I was like, oh, I'll use these. And then everything is a shit show. Everything is a goddamn shit show on my deck right now. I played last night for 2 hours. I won one time.
Tough gig, man.
And like, I don't know if some days the matchmaking just puts me with people who are way better than me, or if I'm just universally trash.
Well, you said that the deck, according to at least one of your friends, the deck is pretty weak.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy at work, and this sort of underlines that thing. We know for whatever reason, my brain has a resistance to going on and doing a lot of reading about these games. I think I want the thrill of having solved the puzzle on my own.
Yeah.
But I was talking at work. I was sort of lamenting about this with one of the developers, and he's like, "Oh, you play Magic the Gathering Arena? I've been playing that too." And I was like, "Yeah." I put together this. It's basically a green, white, and then a little bit of a black deck. And he goes, green, white, black's a really underpowered color combination. He's like, you should be going for like white, red, blue. And I was like, fuck. Like, not only did not only could he recognize that my colors were underpowered, he immediately was able to offer an alternative and then tell me what cards I should make.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah. And I'm like,
that's great.
It was really cool, but I was like, there is clearly some level of knowledge that I must research if I want to be serious about being competitive. And instead of being a little whiny baby, like, I don't feel like reading about it. I don't think it's a true experience. I need to just go and do it. So yeah, it got me off my high horse. But I've been putting together this deck, and after I told him about it, I went and I played last night, and I sort of fine-tuned it, and I lost for 2 hours straight, and I finally got a single win on it. And now I can move on. I think I'm just going to like leave that deck alone. I'm just going to go with some different colors. Yeah, because my whole idea was I wanted to get there's a number of different cards. Like there's a creature card that does it. There's a blessing like artifact card. And if you don't play, this isn't really important, but it's easier to kill creatures than to destroy artifacts and this and the other thing. But every time I get a new creature under my control, I gain a life. And then I have
the Ajani's welcome card.
Yep. Well, and also like an inspiring commander, or like inspiring commander. Every time you get a creature with 2 power or less, you get a life and you draw a card. And then there's another one. It's like some crowd rabble rouser or something. Every time you get a creature from he's a creature card, you get another life. So they stack. So I can get like 3 health per whatever per turn, and then if I put out this horrible vampire guy, every time I gain life, my opponent loses life and they can't block it. Well, I get to this point where I have a ton of creatures and they're really cheap. And then my opponent's just like, ha ha ha, how about this card? 1 damage to all your monsters. And then 9 of my 10 creatures are dead. I lose half my healing and I can't defend against their 4 monsters because I don't have that stupid card because it's a different color and it won't fit my deck.
Magic is definitely one of those games where like you think you're being fucking real clever. You think you're being real clever and someone can like rip your deck off.
You get humbled easy.
very quickly.
And there's a thing about it. It's like certain colors are good against certain other colors. And I feel like if I play earlier in the night, I get paired with people who aren't quite ready for me.
Yeah.
But if I play at like 2 or 3 at night when only the boss daddies are on, they're like, hey, you wanted to play this game? Sorry, I'm going to take a 3-minute turn and then explode you at the end of it. And I go, oh, well, I'll just quit.
Have you noticed if like any certain type of deck is the worst to play against or like the most difficult for you?
For me, it's often, well, there's 2 that are really tough. Like a good blue-green, you rush these things called like merfolk, and they're super cheap, like water. They're like mermaids, but with legs and stuff.
What? That's not right.
But they all like buff each other. There's one, it's like if you...
Sounds sexy.
For every time you play a merfolk, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on it. And then there's another one. This merfolk gets +1/+1 till the end of the turn every time you play another merfolk, and they're super cheap, so you can play 2 in a turn, and then you get the other guy's buff, and then you put it on this thing that buffs till the end of the turn. You give a permanent buff, and it can't be blocked. It just cannot be blocked.
Yep.
Now, are these like sexy women mermaids?
No, they're like swamp creatures, and they're sort of, some of them are like kind of creepy looking. Some of them you're like, that would be an incredibly beautiful nature of creature of nature, but it's not in like a human beauty and like the majesty of Mother Earth.
A monster.
Yeah. And those are always tough. In fact, there's rank stuff. I guess it goes bronze, silver, gold, and I got to the highest level of 4 in silver using the stock blue-green deck. Because no matter what, like, it got to that point. It was at that point I started playing like real boss G's, you know what I mean? Real cool guys. I just rushed to these merfolk and people couldn't handle it. Because no matter what they did, I had more monsters. I just had more.
Yeah.
And, excuse me.
That's what's great about like the white and black is like you can just have like sheer numbers. But then like if you stack them the right way, like if you can get them with like a bunch of life links, you can get them with a bunch of
death touches.
Death touches are great, and like the ones like we were saying, like they'll lose life, you'll gain life, and then it's just like this constant. Just I'm going to take your life and give it to myself.
The thing about death touch is like doesn't matter the strength. If one of your creatures is damaged at all by a creature with death touch, it completely dies.
Right. I also know there's reach, flying, and some other stuff. But what you just said something I can't remember what it was now.
Lifelink.
Lifelink.
Explain lifelink.
You just attack somebody, you deal damage, and then you gain that much health.
And if as the player, or the
you as the player.
And also if those creatures die, you still get life from them. So they're good blockers too.
So, and then the other one that's been really difficult for me are these like red and red-blue decks.
Yeah,
they've got like 90 instants.
They're so overpowered, man.
And the
Red.
thing, and
choice.
They'll be like, so you can have 4 of any card in your deck of 60 cards, unless it specifically says you can have any number of them. And I played this guy who had like Rat King, and it was super cheap, and it's like you get +1/+0 for every other Rat King, and he just kept laying him down, and I got overwhelmed. But usually what they do is they use like flame, and it does 2 damage to my monster, and my monster skilled flame spire, and it does, so all these cards do the same goddamn thing, and you can only have 4 of every version, so they just make different versions of them. It's like murder, kill target monster, make unalive, make stop living target monster. I'm like, it's the same card. He's got 8 of them now. Come on. So
Change the words slightly.
Yeah, exactly. Or they'll like banish my creature, lock away creature, and I just can't. I'm not get good enough to know how to counter.
Have you run into anybody who dropped a Nexus of Fate card on you?
What's that one?
Oh, okay. So this is like a big issue right now in the game.
Is it a spell or?
It's an instant spell, and it's take an extra turn after this one. If Nexus of Fate would be put into the graveyard from anywhere, reveal Nexus of Fate and shuffle it into the owner's library instead. But when that thing is dropped, you take an extra turn after that one. They can spam you and just keep doing it. One guy got spammed for 3 hours. He got stuck on a turn for 3 hours because of this fucking card. Everyone's trying to get it banned.
How do you make it last 3 hours?
I don't know how it works. I never had it, but
no, I had a guy.
Aren't you going to win like before 3 hours?
No, I had a guy play against me with that card, and I sat there. He took like 4 or 5 turns at 3 minutes each, and I almost quit. And I was like, I'm already this deep into it. Let's just see how it goes.
Yeah.
And it was a point. It was like, you know. He also played this card, you can't lose until this card leaves the field. And then every point of damage that you take, you exile a card. So he would exile a card. So I just ended up doing so much damage to him. He had to exile that card, and he finally lost after like 20 minutes and like 3 turns. I was like, how do you like that, dork?
Right?
You took forever and you still got bodied by a chode like me. That should be a new ABC show. Chode like me. Yep. So, but it's been quite a while since I've played.
Imagine what that would be like. What would you even do for that show? Is it just you playing?
He'd be a guy who makes cheese wheels and works on manhole covers, and I don't know.
It would be animated, but it would be like a little chode.
Yeah,
voiced by Bill.
Damn, dude. Hard.
You gotta start your career somewhere. Like
that's true. Might as well start as a chode. So
that's the sequel.
Yeah, but it's been a while since I played a game like where I can't help but talk about it. You know what I mean? Playing it a lot is one thing, but you and I talk about this now every time we see each other. Yeah, we have played together online. We're like, how the hell are we going to stream this damn thing?
Yeah,
and I can't wait. Because I'm really kind of looking forward to, us playing and then having Genevieve play, and then I look over her shoulder and just roast the both of you in a microphone.
Oh my god!
But yeah, it'll be a good time. I'm impressed, and it's free, and it's addicting. It's those little teeny tiny accomplishments. Oh, you want? Yeah. You want? They give you the breadcrumbs to keep you coming back. Yeah, you just want one more. You just want one more win for 50 more coins. Okay, we're gonna pair you with some really strong people for an hour. So,
you might get one win.
Yeah, and then you get one more win. You're like, I bet I can get another one. Oh, you want this free card?
Yeah. It's like gambling. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's rough.
Here, have a free mythic rare.
So this kind of leads me into one of the topics I thought I would talk about. You had told me, I think another game that you were playing didn't have a soundtrack, or it was Hot Shot, right?
Super Hot.
Yeah. It didn't have a soundtrack, and I saw you actually streaming that the other day on the YouTubes. I was driving, so I couldn't watch, but I saw that you were doing it.
Thanks, jerk.
Way to be driving.
Yeah. But you had mentioned that it doesn't have a soundtrack, so you can play your own shit, and it's super hype. And that's sort of what I've been doing with Magic the Gathering. Like, I like the ambiance sound. There's not like a soundtrack, but mostly I've just been...
Oh, yeah. When I've been playing, I listen to my own music, too, with Magic. Yeah.
And I'm curious how you feel about that, because I have been... I've been watching a lot of Netflix while I play, which is cool because I'm double consuming.
Maximizing your consuming power.
It sort of reminds me of when you hear about the old heads. They're like, God damn it, there's no more. You buy the digital version and you're not getting the album art. It's still,
not getting the what?
The album art.
Oh.
The album art used to be a big deal because when you bought albums, look at the size of them. They're like 4 feet across, and then this big art that they thought about. And then it went down to the CD, and people were like, "Goddamn CDs!" But you still got it. And there was art.
You could open it up.
On the CD, there was always art on the top too. And then you might have the lyrics pull out or the journey of the band. Who fucking knows? But now you just click it on the Intertrons, and it comes to your computer, and you don't even have to think about it. And people were lamenting the loss of that part of that experience. Maybe many years ago when I was a child. But I remember it like it was yesteryear. And now here we are, foregoing voluntarily that experience. Now, we're talking about 2 games that don't really have very valuable sound in them anyway. But I was asking myself, do I like that? Do I think that's a good trend? And will I often turn off soundtracks to game and play my own? And I personally don't. I'm not a musician like you guys.
Really? No, not the musician part, but the soundtrack thing. Because I feel like more than often than not, you have like something else playing music-wise or a show.
It's usually like a show, but the games I've been playing a lot recently are things like Magic the Gathering Arena or
more strategy,
what is it, Blackwake or whatever. And I just need to hear people's voices when they're talking to me. I don't need to like. I'm pretty good at that games. So
you also need to, set aside some time to work on your erotic novels.
That's exactly right. I do live action erotic novels in game.
Sounds like porn.
Yeah.
But you can't see it.
Yeah. But Bill.
But what I'm saying is I don't when I choose music, it's never as exciting for me when I put on a song as when, say, it just comes on the radio. Somebody else picks the song and go, oh shit, what a great idea to play this song. And then I play it and it could be the same song. Like, this is boring.
All right.
It's like when I watch a movie and they start like the mamas and the papas, all the leaves are brown. I go, why don't I ever listen to that fucking song? And then I go and I put it on myself. I'm like, well, this is actually kind of boring. So there's some sort of magic lost when I choose it.
I think you're just autistic.
Well,
what?
You got vaccinated.
Oh no.
That's why you don't have measles. Thank you.
Our listeners should come up with playlists for you.
Well, that would be super dope.
Yeah.
Well, have you heard of Pandora Radio?
Yeah, but
you pick the song that you like, and then it gives you similar things.
Yeah, until
this is like a revolutionary thing from like years ago.
Until Adele comes on my prog punk station, and like
you're what now?
Prog punk, progressive punk.
Oh, okay. Thought you were talking about.
But the issue is. I could either try to choose music or I could just listen to what the developers have. And when you listen to a really good soundtrack, boy, does it suck you in, and it gives you this whole other aspect of experience. And it feels like somebody's telling me a story in more than one way. The story's in front of me, but they're telling another story with the sound and the music that they include.
It's more immersive.
Think about how hype you were as a kid playing Pokemon with that fucking little like motherboard speaker. Now, if you play Pokemon, your heart is a thumping right now because that was, it's so good. But then, but it is kind of nice to have the freedom to put on my own shit. So that's sort of what I'm getting at. I would rather the games give me good music to listen to that enhances my experience, but I guess I'm not upset that they don't have it. What do you think about it?
I don't know. Well, like with games like Magic, like like in Super Hot, like obviously there's like no soundtrack really, so I was like, oh, I need something, so I would put on Spotify and shuffle and let it go, and just let it go, and I enjoy what comes out. But I also really, really love games with really great soundtracks. Like I'm also playing Bastion right now, and that soundtrack is fucking incredible.
Wait, couple things. I just want to know, do you put it like shuffle on a certain playlist or just like all your songs? Because
it's usually a certain playlist, like depending on the style of music I feel at that particular time.
Okay. All right.
I usually do by style.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What was your other question? You said a couple of things.
I'm not familiar, or I can't remember Bastion. I feel like we've talked about it on.
The only thing you rephrased that.
You shut your face.
She's not familiar or can't remember. I mean,
it's fun. It has a really great soundtrack. Basically, the calamity destroys the earth, and you kind of have to like sort of put it back together. Is what I'm gathering.
Oh.
Like in like the Bastion is like the land mass that you're on with like your shops and like the few people that have survived with you and stuff.
Wait, what is it? Is it like a shooter or a strategy or?
No, it's a top down like adventure game.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
It's a really great time.
What did you buy it? How much did you buy it for?
I got it on sale. I think it was like $12.99 maybe, possibly.
All right, give us a little bit of a Bastion review.
It's great. Just fucking play it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, a little. That's all you're gonna say?
Just fucking play it.
Tell me about.
That's how you just need to fucking play it.
All right.
Top down.
Put it on
what's the art style? Like?
It's very good. It's very colorful. It's cartoony. It's kind of like an anime, but not really at the same time too.
It's actually just a sim, right?
What?
Like a dating sim.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a Christian mingle sim.
Notice me, Bastion son.
Wait, did you say Bastion's the name of the land? It's not even your character.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the name of the yeah, your character's known as the Kid.
Ah.
Oh, and then there's like this narrator that's like happening, and he like narrates whatever you do, like he narrates it all, and like the guy's voice is just great. And it's just like I'm just like just keep talking to me.
Is it the same voice actor as Roger Rabbit?
No.
Because that's the narrator I want.
What?
Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But it's like this smooth.
Who was the voice for
kind of
Roger
voice.
Rabbit though?
With like this cool like open string tuning guitar music with like Middle Eastern style themes of music, coupled with this guy's like deep like warm voice is just like awesome. It's like a really just great sonic experience you get, plus like coupled with like all the colors that you get from the game, which is like they're so beautiful. It's just a really great experience.
So this game you would stick with its original soundtrack.
Absolutely.
Are you the kind of person who listens to a game's original soundtrack outside of the game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I love it, yeah. And this one I listen to this one quite a bit.
That's crazy. See,
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't
really good
I don't
one.
ever experience it outside of the whole experience with the game itself.
Really?
Yeah,
It's worthwhile.
Because I don't think I've ever done like a whole soundtrack, but there's songs like from Skyrim, definitely the Batman games.
There were some
Really?
games where I stumbled across the soundtrack before the game, and I
You look like an alien's
That
about
was-
to pop
that was
out
me
of
and
your
Fury.
stomach.
This
Chris.
No one can see what you're doing.
oh right.
So I'll describe it with words.
Please don't. What you just described, Chris, was the same with me and Fury. I found out about the game because its music came up in the related of something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Fury. And
The
I
game
do
is
listen
so
to
hard.
and I still listen to that music outside of the game constantly. More often than I actually play the game, by far.
Dude, I had a friend in college. He was one of my fraternity brothers, Tom. He didn't like music.
What?
I've heard that before.
He didn't dislike it. He's just like, yeah, I just don't. I just doesn't
He just
do
had
anything.
no opinion.
Yeah. What?
It's just kind of there.
He's the one who's the serial killer. I'll tell you. Like, we have evolved to like music, and if that part of your brain's not kicking over, well, I got some questions for you.
Yeah.
First off, where are the bodies?
Second off,
Where are the other bodies?
what are you doing tonight?
So
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
I think I'm gonna have to give that
Yes,
a try.
Daddy.
I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and
Start digging. Seriously, start digging in because you kind of hear them differently too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll start listening to that on my incredibly long car ride. It's only an hour, I guess, every day, twice a day. But I'm gonna start putting on some playlists while I play games, and I guess I'm gonna have to start using ad blocker. That's also part of the thing when I'm like rocking out to a game. It's like, would you like to vote for this candidate in Spanish? I'm like, what is going on? I don't live in Texas. I don't know.
The only place they speak Spanish.
No, the candidate was from Texas.
Even weirder.
So that's pretty cool. Okay. But I have had a lot of fun magicking, opening the booster
And
decks and
gathering.
all that stuff. So
Yeah. Though you know what though? The only thing, I mean, I think Magic Arena is great. I think it's done just right for a card game. I think the animations are just right. I think the sound is actually done very well in the game. Even though there's no music really, the sound is really good. There's a fly. And like if your speakers are good or your headphones are good, it actually sounds like there's a fly flying around your head. It's done very well. But that's not the point I'm trying to make here. The point I'm trying to make here is I forgot.
oh my
I
god.
said the fly thing seems like an unnecessary
Yeah,
detail.
well, the
that
fly
they
was very
added.
exciting. It was exciting, but oh, right. There's the smell of opening a fresh booster pack
Yep. And the feel of the foil in
and
your
the feel of the foil.
hand. Yeah, it's not there.
Not there.
But I've got to do more research and get better at that game. But like you, I'm recognizing like all I'm doing in my free time is playing this stupid game. I've started to like.
There's a Discord server for the game, so you can get a lot of help there. There's a lot of good resources in there.
Yeah, I'm like I still have a couple projects around the house that I want to get done, but oops, I'm playing Magic the Gathering Arena again, and I'm not a kid anymore, so that kind of shit is not acceptable at this point in
It's
my
the
life.
winter.
It is the winter, but like I have things to
Hibernate,
do.
bitch.
I told you I had a pipe burst in my house like last week
Yep.
because it's winter.
And it froze.
It froze and then it shot water all over the ground.
Suck.
Oh wait, that's no. Sorry.
All right. Okay, my last question about this soundtrack thing. Do you tend to have longer or shorter playlists? And do you play them in order or do you play them on shuffle?
You already said shuffle, right?
But like the playlists, well, like I don't like put them in any specific order when I put them together. So
Okay.
So they're already shuffled.
All right.
Spotify is good at taking like typical genres that you listen to and making playlists out of those.
Yeah, they have like the made for you.
Section.
Yeah, I don't like machines knowing what I'm up to. Okay, I don't
get used
need
to
that.
it. You're already late to the party.
It's
I mean, I
happening.
do know Frank, but I give him bad data. No, okay. So, but your playlist, how many songs are in them?
A lot.
Because if you get to these really big ones, you almost never listen to the ones at the very end. But like, I listen to the original Linkin Park CD whenever I'm doing work in my basement, like building something or whatever. I put that motherfucker on and I rock through it
because it's hype and you got the CD player down there.
Yeah. I got my original CD. It's this old stupid alarm clock. It turn it up as loud as I can. And if I'm working with Genevieve, we don't even talk because we're just rocking out. But part of the thing is, excuse me, part of my enjoyment comes from anticipating the next song as the first song is ending up. And that's one of the things.
Your mind knows that it's coming next.
Yeah, that's one of the things I sort of miss about the CD experience. Like, you look up a song on YouTube or whatever and it loads the song and then it transitions to the next one. And there's just a hair more time no matter what you do between songs. Like on the CD, there would be a little bit of a pause, but it was less than a second. And there for a while, they had CD players that would build in a pause. I think they would like preload what's next on the disc. And it was a result of this anti-skip feature. So... You know, old CD players, if you hit them, if you bumped them, the CD would skip because it was playing as it read the data. And then they made CD players that would load like the next 10 seconds. So if it got jostled, it would just go through that memory buffer. And it would skip and then it would pick up where it was. And I think it would do that with the next song and it would add a 1 second delay. And it never felt right. Because if you just let the CDs rock... I don't know if the time is consistent or not. It doesn't feel like it. Feels like whoever made the CD did it, because some of those songs lead right into each other. So, you know, they'll be from the top to the bottom to top, stop. And you're like, I get fucking hype every time because I know exactly when it's coming in. The whole thing it's an experience of flow, and that feeling is something I think I would lose if I put a playlist on shuffle. Right? Like I get hype for the next one, even 15 years later or whatever it is. And part of the nice thing about Hybrid Theory is that the whole album's like 32 minutes. So that tail end of the CD never gets neglected because I just listen through the whole thing and then I'm like, well, that wasn't enough. And I listen through it again. But if I have a real long playlist and I go in order, I never hear those ass end songs. And if I put it on shuffle, I don't get that flow experience. So I'm very conflicted. So, you know, like a good person, instead of coming up with a solution, I just don't do it.
Well, with playlists, you could
Only
just like
make
pick up
playlists,
where you left off.
Or just only make 30-minute playlists.
Yeah, like commit to X amount of songs.
Right. But then my inability to create things that are interesting. I have a 30-minute playlist. I'm like, well, that was boring shit job. But if I just throw 500 songs in there that I like, then I could pretend like I have an ability.
Then you might as well just like put your regular music library on shuffle at that point.
I just listen to the radio.
Which would be very jarring, probably.
Probably.
Most people.
It'll go from like Jewel to Behemoth.
Huh.
Wait, are you kidding me? Did you just Jewel?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No.
You're unbelievable. My mom burned me one time as a kid, though. I'll tell this story because you guys don't know my mom. We were in a store, and I was like being a little whiny kid or something. No, I don't think I was acting up at all. And I told my mom I liked Jewel at some point in the past, and she came over. She came over to this stereo at this store. And my mother goes, I see why you like Jewel. She's whiny just like you.
Oh my god!
And then
got him.
Go
and then
Big
she
D.
fucking yucked it up. I was like 6. I was like, Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
Wow.
you dumb kid.
Devastating blow.
Excellent.
Way to go, Big
Wow,
D.
she told you the real world young.
Yeah, man.
Good for her.
And here's the thing.
Good for her.
I still remember it 22
Right?
years later. I think that's one you can chalk up to the win column as a parent. Like,
you know she was proud of that.
yeah, you burn your kids so bad that they remember it 22 years later before their brain isn't even like mashed potatoes, because kids' brains are mashed potatoes.
Yep.
Oh, and then of course she goes, "Oh, I'm too old. I don't remember that." I'm like, "You fucking do. I know you just don't want any consequences." You fucking...
She'll never admit to it.
I am an album listener
Yeah.
more often than not, and for that reason, I encourage when listening through a record to put it on shuffle every now and then. If you listen to the same record over and over again, specifically to disrupt that. There is a thrill that you lose, but each song is now a surprise. And if you truly like the song, you'll still be happy about it.
Yeah.
And it I don't know, for me, having that, being able to appraise the song, just not having what normally precedes it on the record, it kind of forces you to think of it as a unit more.
Yeah, lets it stand on its own.
Yeah. And I prefer to listen to, again, whole records, and therefore I tend to favor records that I like entirely or nearly entirely. Even if like some other bands have some songs that really get my blood going, if it's the only song on the record, I'm far less likely to ever hear that song again unless I'm specifically in the mood for it. Which you might think is a bad thing, except it means I generally listen to musicians I think who are better overall.
Right.
So, which is partly why I have I like a lot of artists, and I like a lot of artists' entire records or entire discographies. But, I tend to listen to very few at a time.
I really started to appreciate, again, the idea of listening to a whole album as an album when I went on and I put on Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album. And I was talking about this at work. I was like, yeah, I heard that, and I realized albums can be pretty good. And one of the guys I work with laughed at me. He's like, that's probably the agreed upon greatest album of all time, so of course it's good. I was like, it taught me a lesson is the point here, Dave. Thought he was so fucking smart. He's English. Does that surprise you? No. So,
Of course he thinks
Smug
it's
bastard.
but I sort of had the opposite experience. I'm like, I'm going to listen to this whole album because these fuckers put in some damn effort. And there will be songs in there I'm like, this is so boring. But I want to listen to the next song, so I end up listening to that song 10 times, and I begin to appreciate some aspect of it. Maybe that's what makes me a truly boring person. No matter what the song is, if I listen to it 50 times, I will find something to like about it.
I
Maybe
share
you're just
that.
a positive person.
I share that completely. And generally speaking, it's no one else's problem.
So no one's getting hurt. It doesn't matter.
I mean, I just spend a lot of time by myself, and I have complete command of my domain 99% of the time. So it's just like, I'll listen to this record for the 4th time today. Why not?
I have tried to listen to some more modern artists, and this isn't. I'm not going down the path of like modern music is garbage, but a lot of these more pop albums I've put on, they feel like individual songs that have sort of no continuity of idea.
I think that's usually the case.
Well, and
especially in pop.
I figured it was because they released them as singles so much.
They do like to do that.
So I put on, I'm like, I'm going to listen to this album and I'm really going to see what this artist is like. And then they don't even seem like they're in the same neighborhood, each song. So I'm really getting a hankering for once I finish all my projects around the house, I got to pick up a phonograph. Because whether or not it's true, I have convinced myself there is a deeper sound in an analog audio source than a digital one. Because even if digital can encode nearly infinite numbers of sounds, analog could encode literally infinite sounds. So eat my shorts.
You're referring to vinyl, of course.
Yes.
I have a small collection right over there. If you have and I don't have like a super OP vinyl setup. I have a fairly cheap record player, in fact, but a decent set of speakers, and it works. The sound quality thing, yeah, probably. Will most people ever be able to perceive it? Probably not, unless they're looking for it. I agree it's there. I disagree with some of the snobbiness surrounding it. And I am, I'm a musician. I don't know. I think that carries a little bit of weight, right?
But
it's true, but it's not that big of a deal because of what you already described with digital. It's like, it's fine. It's like really, really quite good at this point. But that being said, what vinyl definitely has, even over, in my opinion, something like a CD, where you can easily pause and resume. A vinyl record is something of a ritual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you put that on, you do whatever else you do while you're doing laundry or while you're just chilling, smoking your tobacco pipe by the fireplace in your robe, or whatever the case might be. You listen through, you can stop it at any time, but ideally, why would you?
Right.
Like, you just, okay, you have to get up and change the sides. A lot of records, a lot of full length CDs that are then, with the resurgence of vinyl's popularity in recent years, then being pressed on vinyl where they were not before, are the lengths of double or even triple LPs or somewhere in between. So you have to get up like 4 or more times in many cases, not every case. And there's other factors too, like how deeply the grooves were cut, like how much sound they put in there. Because like if they can cram, I think, up to like 22 or 23 minutes onto a given side, but the audio quality will suffer for it. Whereas if you're like in the 16-minute-ish range per side, it's like significantly better and like louder, and they can do more. So there's all those goofy little like physics things involved, more so than just light bouncing off some plastic. And I mean, CDs still.
Frank's not even here. Don't talk about him like that.
We fucked on him.
We fucked
at
on
the
him?
Top of the show. Don't you give me that. But I'm with you, man. The vinyl record thing is cool. Just listening through whole records. I mean, most of my music is Bluetooth through my phone, either to my car or to a headset.
I'm all Bluetooth right now.
Sometimes listen to music while I'm sitting here doing my, gaming or whatever. But even that often comes through YouTube, because another thing I like to do is to just, rely on shuffle essentially for related videos and whatever. And with YouTube, there's all the other shit you might watch that'll get in the way. You have to do some maneuvering, but your Spotify's and what have you will definitely keep you straight. And then you just get to, essentially have the radio, but only with stuff hopefully you like for the most part.
Up at our hunting camp, I started hunting 15 years ago or something. I can't remember how old you are, 12 or 13 or 14 when you can be a junior hunter. My stepdad used to wake up the whole house at 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock with this CD of Eddie Arnold. And at first I hated it. Boom.
I don't know the song, so this means nothing.
What's he doing? Every day for years. And my rage built year over year. And then eventually it started to decline. And I soothed.
That's where you get it from.
And I calmed down. And then I love it. Now, as my stepdad has gotten older, he sleeps in, and I wake up to my phone alarm and not Eddie Arnold crooning, and I get mad. I go, where is my Eddie Arnold? He's the house favorite now because everybody has woken up to Eddie Arnold.
I think they call that Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, see, Mikey made you the way you are.
Yeah.
If you listen to it enough times, you start to like it.
And it's funny because you'll play it, and then it'll get over, and then I just get up and I flip over to the other side and play that. And I'm like, oh, album flipped over. Should we pick a new one? And I get up and I just flip it over to the first side. Nope, I haven't heard this enough times.
Oh my god!
Because I'm not even listening to it anymore. I'm sort of feeling it, and I don't know. It's like a warm blanket. I'm insane.
And I have to sit next to you.
I'm so edgy and deep and 14 and
Edgelord?
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, everybody.
Straight X Core.
That's all we needed to say. And hey, we'll catch you on the flip side. And so we're back from
Outer space.
snakes. Oh, shit. Yeah, outer space. Okay, so right now there's a big old...
We all sit here with a sad look on our face.
It was over.
Okay.
Move on. Let the past die.
Whoa.
Jesus.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Lunar New Year's sale.
There's a big sale going on.
Speaking of new
And
beginnings.
you get 5 bones off your first purchase of 30 bones or more, it says. Apparently
It
there's
says
some...
bones.
There says some tokens going on here. I don't know. Anyway, this is a big section. We're just going to expand our usual Steam sale because there's so much good shit going on. So I guess we'll just get started. Right here we have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Game of the Year Edition
Do it.
for 70% off at
Do it.
$14.99.
But wait,
There's more.
You can get all 3 Witcher games bundled together.
That's the DLCs.
Oh, there they are. The
2 of
DLCs.
them at least. I think the one.
You can get the first Witcher for $1.49.
I'm going to be real with
Is
you.
it
I
worth
bought
it?
this and yeah, see there's my little gamer picture down there. That Snorlax card. 4 friends on this game. I played like 45 minutes of it. It's a riot, dude. I mean, it is old and kind of clunky, but immediately engaging.
I've played about 2 hours of it on console.
Yeah.
And but I'm having a little bit of trouble with my Steam purchases today, but I'm going to pick it up once it's resolved. And The Witcher 2 for
If
$3.
you say Electric Boogaloo, so help
I'm
me.
not going to.
You love making that fucking joke.
Oh my God.
All right.
So right there, for anyone who has played the Witcher series, you know that's a really fucking good deal.
Yes.
And
That's an extremely good deal.
This is the thing that I love so much about these Steam sales is, you have this more recent game, and The Witcher 3 is not really that old, and the fact that they're discounting it so much off of the original sale price or something close to it, I'm like, I don't know about that. But the original versions you can get the first 2 games for $4.50. That's a steal. And then you play those games and it makes The Witcher 3 even older, which means the next time it's 70% off, it's probably going to be 70% off of $40 instead of $50. And you get all the lore and experience and background and you build the hype. This is what I love about these Steam sales. Buy the early editions and guess what? If they're trash or they're too clunky to play or whatever, you just move on to the next one.
You burned the money for like a third of a beer at a bar.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I find that these old games, if you play the more recent version, like if you were to play The Witcher 3 and then go back to 1 to see what it was all about, the mechanics changes are almost unbearable. It's so difficult to unlearn what you already learned. But if you start with the original one with no expectations, then you get to fly through the improvements as soon as you finish the game. It's super great. Yeah, start your Witcher experience. They're dope.
Yeah, for under $5 you can get the first 2 games. There's no reason to say anything more than that if you've heard one thing about the series. Another series that is on an absurd sale right now is the Dark Souls franchise, in particular games number 2 and 3
Now, I've
with all their
heard
DLC.
a lot more hype about Dark Souls 2 than Dark Souls 3. Is 2 a better game?
I don't know. I have yet to play them. I'm roughly halfway through the first game and I stopped. But
Yeah.
that was on Xbox. I'm going to pick it up again and finish. But you can pick up Dark Souls 2 right now with all the DLC for $10, $9.99. Down from $40 full price, by the way.
It's totally worth the $10, but I mentioned this earlier because you were looking at Neo, which is basically like Samurai Dark Souls. The whole aesthetic of the Dark Souls series makes me viscerally uncomfortable.
That's the point.
That I avoid playing the game because I'm like, oh no, it's too stressful and it's spooky. And I'll never find my way around because there's no map.
Nope.
3 spooky, 5 bill.
And it's so hard, and I won't do the research. The game will be harder than it has to be, and I'll have to deal with the fact that I'm dumb. I am dumb.
Don't unpack that one.
These games, by all accounts, are hard but fair. Get good or get wrecked.
And that I wonder.
That's really what it is. And you
Yeah,
can build a broken character that doesn't work if you are stupid and just fly into it. But if you do take a little bit of time and focus, and
I don't have either of those. So.
put the pieces together. And you don't really. I haven't done any reading per se, but the save I left off on was a pikeman. Very much favored light armor, like a buckler shield as like a backup, or some other like a reasonably small light shield, and some type of spear or halberd or something. And that requires, as a two-handed weapon, it requires strength, and I knew that. So I mostly put my levels up into strength, and then I put some into dexterity to be able to dodge better. And then I learned the hard way that heavy armor slows you the fuck down. And I would try to dodge roll in a full suit of plate and just thunk into the ground and like crawl back to my feet and just in time to get hit. And, meanwhile in light armor, you can actually kind of spring away, especially when your dexterity is up. So I learned to stay back, move often, and poke.
One thing I tell you I love about this game is it presents such a tremendous opportunity for people to display really, really impressive gaming ability. And, excuse me, the way that it's designed, fair but hard but fair, it brings out the best in players who stick with it because you can't muddle your way through. You have to get good. And if you get invested enough, everybody I've seen play it who's towards the end of the experience or whatever, or playing through on a New Game Plus, watching them dodge these hits from well-defined hitboxes. If you're unfamiliar, hitbox is how the game calculates what space the characters and weapons are actually filling on the screen. But this game does a really good job with that. So it's not like you're getting hit with something you can't see. If it looks like it misses you, it misses your character. You don't take damage. All this feeds into this experience that like you can dodge by a little tiny hair and not by accident. And if that's how good you are, it shows, and it's super cool.
The other thing is like there are dozens of ways to get good and not get wrecked as a result.
Yeah.
I went with staying far away, being nimble, and poking because I'm new to the game. And I like to keep my distance and not get hit because getting hit is how you lose. And you will lose often. But, I mean, there are people who, like, non-glitch speed run the game, never leveling up with a stick and no armor because they just know the patterns of all the enemies well enough to never get hit or get hit very rarely.
Yeah, that's
and it can be done. Is it expedient? No. Is it showing off? Absolutely. And do they deserve it? Absolutely. Because holy shit. But therein is this strength of the core mechanics. But back to the sales here, $10 for 2. I'm not touching on 1 just yet. For Dark Souls 3, the deluxe edition, all DLC, all that good shit, $25.79, down from the better part of $85. It's still a $60 game, even though it's a couple years old. I think because of demand. I don't know if that's true on consoles, but $25.49 for Dark Souls 3, which I definitely intend to play, is 100% worth it in my mind.
I wonder if Bloodborne and Demon Souls are also on sale, since they're not, I guess they're not really in the series, but they're like spiritually and mechanically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Demon Souls, I think, technically is in canon, I think. I'm not sure. Dark Souls 1 is a bit of a different story. It's only slightly on sale, down from inexplicably Oh, hang on. I apologize. This is the Prepare
to
Die
edition, which is a remaster. It's weird because Steam lists Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition and Dark Souls Remastered. And I'm not sure if they're actually different. They're both priced exactly the same way. They just have different graphics and a different title. I honestly don't know, and I want to look into it further. But at $30, I know you can probably pick up the unmastered one for much, much cheaper. In fact, let's see. It's obviously not listing that because it's older. I don't even know if Steam hosts it. See, here's remastered, and I'm looking at Prepare to Die, and they're the same price point, which is strange. I want to see if we can find the just vanilla Dark Souls.
While you're looking, I will comment that at first I was initially suspicious of these remasters, and they come out and they're like $30 or $40 of these old games. But every time I've seen it done, the remasters are amazing.
I've heard exceptional things about the first Dark Souls in that regard.
And even like Shadow of the Colossus, you know, whenever they seem to do it, I don't know how they put the squads together, but the people who remaster it really seem to give a shit. And it really enhances the experience. If you recall from a number of episodes ago, I was against it. I wanted to just get the original thing, experience the original experience. But I watched a couple of playthroughs of remasters, and I've sort of been turned around. I could go either way, right? Like whichever one it was. Now, do you get it for much, much cheaper? If you just get the original unremastered or whatever, sure. And is it playable? Absolutely. The mechanics are still there, but the remastered version would be a $30 game. The tough thing about it is, you know, you could get the mechanics without the looks for much less money. So it's a personal question, but
well, it looks like I just Amazoned an Xbox 360 copy of the original Dark Souls, not the remaster. $45 fucking dollars.
Well, for a new one, I guess.
A new copy of a game that is quite old at this point. Not the remaster. So I don't know what that's about, but that does make Steam more competitive, at least but from that one particular seller.
VG Sales Direct has it for $9. Sure, that's legit.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the fucking price variance or who the hell VG Sales Direct is, but anyway, I mean, if the idea of a legitimate action RPG, because it is very much an RPG, with really, really tight action mechanics, with a variety of ways by which really no wrong answers other than the answers that cause you to fail, in terms of getting past enemies and solving, beating the game. $30, honestly, I think isn't that bad of a deal for the original remastered Dark Souls, if that is kind of your cup of tea. I don't think from what I hear, and I haven't played the games in full. I know, Chris, you have, right? And the Dark Souls games?
Have I played them?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I know Frank has, and I have many other friends of mine who have beaten them and continue to play them, as I do the Devil May Cry games. Yeah, I mean, it's a classic, and the remaster is very good. And you don't necessarily, of the original game, but you don't necessarily lose too much by starting with the second or third installment if budget is a serious concern and you want to get into it. So the fact that 2 and 3 are on pretty highly competitive sales right now certainly bears mentioning.
Wait, before you navigate away, what is Darkfall Lost Souls
I
for
don't know.
80% off? Oh my
sounds like a
God, this
knockoff
looks
version.
ridiculous.
142 reviews total.
Mixed. Traveled to the old train station and hotel abandoned since 1947. I think Hitler was doing something then. Following the,
Possibly.
quote, disappearances. Unravel the mystery that binds this place by communicating with ghosties of the long since dead, both in your time and theirs. Oh my God.
$2.50. We have some spoopy imagery.
Oh my God, this came out in 2010. This looks Oh my God, Darkfall, Lost Souls.
It knows your name.
It
knows your name.
Yep.
$2.59.
It's a
Isn't
point
that
and
a
click.
bar
It's a
called
point
Cheers?
and click. So this is a click simulator puzzle indie horror adventure
boy.
game.
This might need to happen.
I hope this is her lie. I tried to believe.
Her ghost I tried to believe.
Yeah, her ghost I tried to believe.
Well, despite that digression, on the subject of Dark Souls and games like it, there's another little game that I've been playing. I'm not going to do a full review because I'm still quite bad and not very far. But it's called Neo.
His father.
Well, I don't know. We're not talking about that. Neo, Nioh. It is basically Dark Souls. Shares many of the same rules in terms of dying and losing progress and
getting good
or getting wrecked and having multiple approaches. But it is it's set in feudal Japan, and it appears to be at least loosely based on Japanese kind of mythology. But otherwise very similar. There are
Less spoopy.
Less spoopy. I think the imagery for you, Bill, is a little less abrasive and a little less horror themed. There's still very much horror themed, but not in like, you're still fighting demons, but you're also fighting humans. You're not like an undead dude, at least not that I'm aware of. And it's very heavily referential, and in enough ways to make it fun, historically accurate or seemingly. So like you choose, when you're specking out your character, you choose 2 primary melee weapons that you would prefer, and you have a range from straight up swords to dual short swords. I can never fucking pronounce it. I'll learn it eventually. But a ball and chain weapon with a sickle on the other end, which is my secondary right now. Battle axes, spears, and odachi or great swords. And I am spec'd into odachi, a big idiot horse killing katana as a primary.
Yeah.
And the scythe and chain and ball as my secondary. And there's bows and flintlocks and probably other shit too. And I am having a blast getting my ass kicked because I do like
an ass blast.
I'm having an ass blast.
So the reviews on this, there's 8,333 mostly positive reviews, and then recent ones 223 mixed. So that always makes me feel like there was some sort of change that some people got grumpy about, or it went on sale and a bunch of casuals tried to play it. We're like, too hard.
It is every bit as hard as Dark Souls.
I could see somebody being confused and thinking this is like a Dynasty Warriors, which is a Japanese.
At a glance, it can resemble that.
Yeah, which was like set in Japan, and you just chop up a bunch of jobbers with super warriors. Everything I'm seeing about this game, what?
I think it was China. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Forgive me.
Never played them.
For I have sinned. But this is everything I'm seeing about this game I really, really like. Yeah. Oh my God. What's it on sale for?
It is currently, it's not the most insane sale ever. For some reason, it's not showing me because I already bought it. Let's back up here. 50% off at $25.
Dude, if I spent $25 on that goddamn Railroad Saga game or whatever the fuck I bought like a real chump, I should spend $25 on this game.
I don't remember what I paid for it. I think I paid less. It does come on sale with some frequency. Again, if you are into, and this is the complete edition with all the DLC.
I didn't realize it was 2 years old.
Yeah. November 7th, 2017. So like a year and change.
That kind of disappoints me because that means it never really caught on. Like Super Fire.
I mean, it definitely seems kind of niche having the whole Japanese like samurai theme. Like it might be like, oh, this game's for weeaboos. I assure you, it's not.
We get your body pillow.
It is. Historically themed. Not super rigid. But one fun factor. I guess I am doing more of a review than I meant to. But one fun difference between it and Dark Souls is I forget exactly what they call it, but you have a system of stances. In fact, I think that's it, stances. And you can toggle between them pretty easily enough. And it basically just is the height at which you are holding your weapon. There's low, medium, and high. And, high typically, especially with heavy weapons, favors more attack damage but slower swipes because you're always coming down from the top. You're throwing like the weight of the weapon into it more. And then like low stance is more for like quick reactions, lower damage, which even with a heavy weapon, you know, like with an axe, for example, one of the, I think the main opening strike from low guard is to butt with the back end of the axe instead, which you're holding down real low. And then medium is like better for like quickly transitioning to block, and then also having some decent like moves in the middle. Again, medium speed, medium range. So like, so you have all these different sets of moves for every weapon that are, at least, I'm not an expert, but at least somewhat based in historical fighting manuals for those weapons, which feels really satisfying. And like, you know, just playing with the ball and chain thing, like apparently that weapon's fairly cheesable, and that might be one thing that people are complaining about. Because it especially from high guard, like you have a light and heavy attack. I think just like Dark Souls. In the heavy attack, you throw the weight reasonably far away and can like peg someone in the dome with it, and then draw it back really quick. And then when they get up close, you're just spitting the weight of it really fast, like over your head and down at them. So even though it's a power attack in terms of its stance, I mean the light attack with the upper stance, which normally is damage favoring, this one it's just also as fast as any of its other moves, but reaches a little bit further, and you can just beat the shit out of people with the weight of it.
I watched you kill a man by throwing those steel balls into his flesh balls. Mm-hmm. It was horrible and awesome. Heads
and limbs come off very easily. It is very satisfying. Like you decapitate people with a bow frequently.
Amazing.
Well, the arrow, I should say, which is not realistic in any sense, but it is so much fun and gruesome without all the environments, at least so far, in my playthrough, not being dripping with gore and filth.
Is Bloodborne on sale as well?
Bloodborne, I think, is still a PlayStation exclusive.
What?
Could be wrong.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah, that is a Sony exclusive. Neo was too, but it has since ported to Steam.
There's a that might explain why it didn't explode.
Also, yes.
There is a Chivalry or something, which is a medieval set, quote unquote fighting sim. It's like this. It's got the different styles that different stances you could take. I think it's supposed to be pretty darn realistic.
We looked at Bannerman the other day, which was like that.
Yeah.
It was like pixel art, but like the stances themselves were really realistic.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. I think it is Chivalry, which is 7 years old, but I keep hearing good things about it. And it's like once you get used to a certain style of fighting, it becomes pretty easy, but it's got all those different stances that you can practice, and it's a first-person medieval battler. I've heard pretty good things about it. Right now it's on sale for $5. I don't think you can go wrong. I mean, even with my low information review, it's got 42,633 very positive reviews, and over the past 7 years.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong for $7. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, let's see. There's a 4-pack, so you can buy it and play with your friends. I think that's
a great idea.
That's a great marketing move that Steam does with a number of different games. Where I'm like, I've seen. I'm like, I should buy this with the podcast and play again. But their soundtrack's on sale for 60 cents. So Chris, you like the music. You like music stuff, right?
You do the music.
Yeah, you do the music, and so you might like that.
I never buy them though because it's usually right on Spotify or something. So
what I was curious about is if there were other related games for sale along with this. Like if we scroll down, there might be a sequel or something else.
It looks like DLC.
Seeing it. No, there's Hanko.
For Honor is $6 right now.
Oh man, that game kept trying. They just never got it. Wait, Pirates, Vikings, and something Knights for free.
Wait, what?
2.
So there's a number
This
1.
looks terrible. Pirates, Vikings, and Knights 2. It's a struggle for wealth, power, and total domination, whether using the gunpowder keg to clear territory full of enemies or the javelin to pin your dead foes to a wall. You'll find this game both hilarious and exhilarating. Everything's very positive. Came out in 2010. It's free.
Yeah. Adding that to the
we're
list.
going to have to do that. All right.
Play it right now.
Well, he's going to add it. Man, there's a lot of good stuff on sale right now.
Yeah, let's go back to the actual sale because we did
Because
digress.
we've diverged quite a bit.
And that's basically my buying experience. Oh shit, Frostpunk on sale, 40% off, $18. This is the one from that same developer who did This War of Mine and another game I reviewed. I can't remember what the hell it was. Really good stuff from this developer. And the way that I would sum it up is like the games were like 90% super satisfying with little tiny aspects that were sort of bothersome. But this game that they put out seems to be really, really impressive. It's 11-Bit Studios. Yeah, we've talked about them before. I think they're a Polish company and they always do very good work. But just the initial look of this game, the amount of advertising they had, I mean, it could all be a corporate game, but it seems like they buckled down and were like, we're going to get really, really serious about this. So I'm really excited to pick this up.
I see this on the front page of Steam quite often.
Yeah.
I should probably just grab it too.
So it's less than a year. It's less than a year old, and it's got 20,000 very positive reviews.
It's only $17.99.
Yeah, this might be a winner. Survival, city builder strategy, building dark. So you're building as a post-apocalyptic city that needs to survive. The art is incredible. I bet if it's anything like the old games, the atmosphere is going to be foreboding in a really, really satisfying way. And I'm hoping that this is their big one that hits every note right. I can't wait to pick this up.
I might wait for it to come down a little further, but I definitely see the appeal.
Rainbow Six Siege, if you haven't played that yet, I don't know if it's worth spending the $10 to pick it up.
I think $10 is worth it from what I've heard, if you like that sort of thing. It's very Counter-Strike-esque.
Yeah.
5v5, terrorists, counter-terrorists, etc. But with somewhat destructible environments, you can like breach through walls and shit.
The mechanics, there's so much to know about that game. I feel like you're going to spend a lot of time just being trash. They're like landmines that you can shoot through floors and stuff and blow up. It's wild. It's too much for me.
Oh, you can get Frostpunk and This War of Mine for it's 54% off. So it's like $28.76.
So you'd be paying $11 for This War of Mine? Yeah.
Rocket League for $12. Everyone knows what Rocket League is. If you don't, I would encourage you to Google it. It's an extremely popular
what the hell's The Forest
game.
Yeah, it looks like a lady's legs.
Forest for $13.39. Getting some serial killer vibes. No.
Wow.
A little bit, yeah.
Almost 100,000
Plane
positive
crash
reviews. Very positive.
As the lone survivor of a passenger jet crash, you find yourself in a mysterious forest, battling to stay alive against a society of cannibalistic mutants. Build, explore, survive in this terrifying first-person survival horror simulator.
This sounds fun.
You know what I like about this horror game is that it's not set in a horribly dark, grungy world. If you're seeing a theme with my taste, don't be surprised. But I do like it if they can give you the horror even in bright environments. This game is less than a year old. A lot of really good feedback. $13. This, yeah, like you said, G. This might be a must play.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're really manipulating this atmosphere well. It's bright outside, and then you go into a spooky cave with flames, and there's a monster.
It's a horror game. It's got to be spooky.
Chopping down trees.
Chopping down trees, which then explode. That guy was pushing about 4,000 pounds worth of lumber uphill with a sled he built in the woods.
It seems real.
Wait, is this is an open world game? I thought this was going to be like progress through the story, but it looks like you are legitimately building
It's a survival simulator.
Whoa, this looks super cool.
Yeah, this looks dope.
Like I said at the top of this segment, there's a lot of good shit on
This
sale
looks
right now.
real
Oh
fun.
my god.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
This might
I might grab this, yeah.
This might be on the list too. I've burned up way more money on games already. But Rust for $17.49.
What is Rust?
Another survival sim of some sort.
It's super popular.
Yeah, it's pretty well known. Almost 200,000 very positive on average reviews.
Isn't this like the same sort of thing that led to
that's a human.
PUBG. It was a mod on some other game.
Probably.
This is super popular, but again, I think the situation you run into are there's going to be really well established, excellent players. I'm not saying that you can't have fun, but there's a whole environment and world and community that already exists. So I would imagine there'd be some level of learning curve that you got to be ready for.
Of course.
But will you get your 1750? I believe so.
I might just want it to have the experience of being a naked man running around.
That is a...
I'm sure you would love it.
Oh shit, there's a bear attacking you. This game, 10 out of 10.
There are guns you can work up to, apparently.
This is really less than a year old?
It smacks kind of like... it looks fun. I'll say that.
Yeah. It's it's probably because it's a mod off of something else.
Sure.
And it's made by Face Punch Studios, so...
1750 could easily be worth it. Divinity 2 was on sale last week as well. I think it's a slightly worse sale now, if I remember right, at $29.24, 35% off of $45. Hey, I've heard good things about those games. I don't know if I'm prepared to put $30 down on it in particular. So likewise with Total Warhammer, Warhammer, Total War, too many names 2. Total War Warhammer 2, Warhammer the Totally.
I really might get this because I can't wait to jump into the Warhammer lore.
Total Hammer War 2
Hammer 2 War.
Yes. Also on sale, half off, $30.
Warhammer is such good lore, and I think Frank was the one who commented that he wasn't particularly enticed by it, but I think this is another one of those, like, you know how Lord of the Rings does fantasy really well?
Yeah.
So does fucking Warhammer.
Yeah.
And if this Total War game plays like literally any of the other Total War games I played, it's awesome.
Jurassic World?
Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
That's the most recent one, I think.
Oh, I bought that. I bought Jurassic World Evolution.
What?
I bought it for cheaper than that, I think. 75% off of $54.99.
Down to $13.74.
That game was a sleeper for me. I didn't hear shit about it until... No. It's a sleeper in like a sleeper car. Like you look at it and go, this is not very impressive.
Okay.
And then so they stomp the gas and the car takes off because they got a V8 hidden in there and you didn't know about it. But everybody who's talked about this game, who's played it, has said it is really, really good. I have the only other movie games I've really heard of that are good are Lord of the Rings games, except for this. This thing is supposed to be dope.
Do you play dinosaur? Or are you
you like manage a park or something? I don't even know. It's worth the $13.74 from what I've heard. I can't believe it's already on sale. Maybe because it didn't get wide market acceptance, but I picked it up for about that price, and I'm really excited about it. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I don't even know what the hell that is. Is it a DLC or a new game? Because the last one I saw was Rise of the Tomb Raider, and that was super on sale. I don't think you can go wrong with any of the Tomb Raider installments, especially the modern ones. Since they sort of reinvented her as a more modern person that's not so stylized. Yeah, and triangular. They do a great job of telling a story. The puzzles are really engaging, and it's brutal. I remember being struck, like they had her floating down a river and a sharpened spike went through her head. Nice. And I was like, that was raw. Raw.
Nice.
I like that in a game.
Yep.
Another game here, we've kind of depleted the main special offers section of Steam right now, but we're going to keep going, not least because we were underprepared for today, but also because of this Lunar sale, and a lot of the stuff all falls within that purview. And we'll actually take a closer look at that sale itself here in just a moment. But despite Frank not being here, Civilization 6, the base game, is on sale for $14.99.
What?
Wait, what?
The digital deluxe for $20, $19.99.
What?
All right. I'm going to bet that's worth it.
Don't necessarily mind the mixed 35,000 and change reviews. Because if you like the Civilization games, from what Frank has said, and he's not here to clarify this any further, because I haven't played this game yet, but I know that he likes it a lot, plays it frequently, and since various updates and expansions have come out, true to form with these games, the game has gotten much better.
That's what he said. He said, at first he was like, and then I asked him a couple more times, and I said, has it finally gotten enough expansions to be good? And he said, Yes, and I believe him.
Yeah. So obviously $15 for the base game. The DLCs are kind of important here. So I'm going to go ahead and presume we're working with the bundle price that has all those DLCs. $20 is extremely competitive at 75% off, down from $80.
You need to get the DLC to make this into the game that it was supposed to be. That's just the way these Civilization games go.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to pick this up only because I have only played Civ 5. I have not necessarily finished with it before I start learning something new, and I have such a massive backlog of other games, some of which I bought today, that, that's the only reason it's not going to be my pick, but that is just me.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. Anything else? We already looked at Chivalry. Let's see.
Let's browse the special offers there, right?
We already did. I just said that.
I thought there would be no. If you hit the browse all button, it should take us to all the things that are on sale.
Oh, you're totally right.
All the things on sale. All the things on sale.
Has anybody in the room played City Skylines?
Running through.
No.
It's supposed to be, I think, a really good competitor to Sim City, and it has its own.
I've seen some YouTubers play it.
Wonky stuff, like sometimes the traffic doesn't divert or flow the way it's supposed to, but there is a thriving and active community where you can go and get advice. If you're into that SimCity stuff, I keep meaning to pick this up and letting it slide. I was worried it was going to be like SimCity is now, which is this horrible mobile game. It's not. It's legit.
Euro Truck Simulator 2.
Mm-hmm. What are they asking for? Oh, the Sim Skylines is on sale for $750. Worth it. Let's see. Where's Euro Truck Simulator? How much?
The very bottom of the screen.
75% off for $5. That came out 7 years ago. I don't know about that. Let's see. There was something on here that
$10 for Elder Scrolls Online.
Hell yeah.
$5 for The Division. Tom Clancy's The Division.
Everybody I talked about that game, they go, it sucked. They're like, it was so close to being something good, and they just screwed the pooch on the execution.
I have some friends who played it and liked it. Not necessarily loved it. $5 though, if you like your quasi-open world shooters, tactical cover-based stuff with some neat weapon options. It could be. I think I could definitely get 5 hours out of it.
Yeah, I think you'll get your $5 worth.
But at the same time, I could also put that 5 hours into something else. So
Monster Hunter World.
I've heard very good things about it.
Me too, and it's $40. I mean, that's not an incredible sale, but it's still a really recent game.
It's got mixed reviews.
I've been eyeing it, but I've been waiting for it to go on sale a little cheaper.
It's excellent. If you're chomping at the bit to get it, now's not a bad time to make the move. Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PC for $15. What do you boys think of that?
4 years old. A fantastic game for what it is. If you don't have it and haven't played it and want to play it, good time to pull the trigger for sure. I love that game. I still pick it up now and then. It's a lot of fun. Just like all the previous Grand Theft Autos with a lot of improvements. There may be some debate about whether or not it's the best of the games, but I find it moot. It's an open world crime game that's like over the top and fun, and that's exactly why I showed up to it, and exactly why anyone else should too.
Stellaris 75% off. If you haven't gotten it, I think that's a good price to get it. It's only $10. Really good things about that. Watch Dogs 2. I think that was really positive. Have you guys got hands on that?
I heard it was better than the first one.
What is Astroneer?
We've read up on that a little bit. It's a really exciting, enticing looking game. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I do remember that only 20% off for $24 isn't going to get me to play it.
No.
It was sort of we're opening it now, so whenever the internet gets off its ass, we'll be able to tell you. A game of aerospace industry and interplanetary exploration. So it's sort of a cartoony,
polygonal.
Yeah, go through the universe and have wonky fun kind of thing. It's kind of cute. I'm sure it's really enjoyable. The art is very engaging. It's like almost like modern style cell shading. I don't know how to describe it. But this isn't my usual kind of game, and I don't think I'll play it for $24. What do you think of this, G? This looks like it might be interesting to you.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. Like, I like the style. I just, same time, not worth $24 at this time.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else. Oh, Hearts of Iron 4. The Hearts of Iron series is one of the like premier empire management games. I think if it's not WW1, it's WW2, but I think it's the first Great War, and you're managing a pseudo-historical World War II. It's a pseudo-historical version of the world. You could play as the different countries and different empires, and you manage on a macro level resources and military and alliances, and it is really in depth. It's got really interesting behavior. There's a thriving community talking about the interactions. Very, very impressive user interface showing the flow of troops and resources. It made by Paradox development studio, and it's published by Paradox. If you're not familiar with Paradox, they are top tier in these kinds of strategy games. They are really, really good. This has 28,000 positive reviews. It's a 3-year-old game
and one
for
of Jake's
$16.
friends is interested in it.
It's probably me.
It is.
If you are into strategy games and you haven't given this series a try, you could absolutely pick this up and get your $16 worth. Now, I'm sure the rest of the series is on sale, and I think they're all good. The issue that I've run into with buying older versions of these strategy games is that sometimes the management systems, I would call them mechanics if it was like an action game, but like the way you interact with the game is so archaic that you almost can't experience the game because you had to spend so much time learning just how to do it.
Being an old-timey times.
Same thing. Europa Universalis 4, I'm willing to bet that that's made by Paradox as well. That's 75% off on a 6-year-old game. Is it worth $10? Yeah, but you could spend $10 on a more modern game and wait until this thing gets cheaper. XCOM 2, that came out 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
What?
Really, really difficult turn-based battle game between some agency that you're managing and aliens. It's a lot of fun. It is worth the $15 to play the game if you're okay with getting good. What?
The Handsome Collection.
Borderlands, the Handsome Collection.
I think it has to...
Original price $230.
What?
Marked down to $14.75.
94% off?
That must be every game in DLC. Because,
and like soundtrack and like
everything. Look,
box art.
Yep. A whole bunch of stuff.
All the DLCs, which are all dirt cheap. I just needed to question.
Holy
them.
hell.
Whoa.
So they
but also, why
for
is
Borderlands 2 they clearly released a gazillion like $1 expansion packs to essentially microtransaction people, but there are a shitload of them.
Wow.
This list just keeps getting longer. Here's what you save by buying. Okay, well now it's a little different.
No, that's just the DLC bundle.
Oh, okay. Collection bundle.
Well, there's that character, the Handsome Jack, so that's probably what they're playing off of.
Probably.
I thought they were just like bragging a bit.
And Borderlands, the pre-sequel.
Huh. Oh, so it's not even Borderlands 1, which you can pick up for like $250.
Yeah. But 14, I mean, I never really got, I sort of missed the Borderlands train. It's definitely a game that thrives with friends, and most of my friends have long put it down. And they had just put it down when I picked it up. So I was like, okay, well, I actually never finished the first game. I never started the second.
That's my exact same experience. I played through maybe half of it with Genevieve, and we just fell out of it. And it's like, am I going to start all over again?
Yeah. Definitely had some great ideas. I hear mostly good things about all the Borderlands stuff. Well, worth it if you have a bunch of friends who all want to pick it up and play together. I think it's doable by yourself, but I think it loses quite a bit when you do that. But I want to click in here mostly because of that price variation. I'm still not sure whether getting $230.
Looks like bad math or something.
Yeah, I don't know. But at any rate, that content for $15 is worth it if you do want to play the game.
All right, so Sims 3 is on sale for $5. It's pretty impressive from its usual price, but then I want to know, what does Human fall flat right above Sims 3? It's like a red
$7.49.
The title just kind of
Human: fall flat.
It is a quirky, open-ended, physics-based puzzle platformer set in floating dreamscapes. Your goal is to find the exit of these surreal levels by solving puzzles with nothing but your wits. Local co-op for 2 players and up to 8 online for even more mayhem. This looks like something you and I might have to pick up for $7.50, and this is right up your alley.
Yeah, it looks kind of goofy.
Yeah, cutesy puzzle games. You've been playing a number of those.
It looks pretty comical.
You can, like, throw your teammates around.
Just everyone's kind of I think a literal ragdoll.
Yeah.
There was a PlayStation
moon level gravity.
There was a PlayStation series that you were basically like a stuffed threaded doll, and that was really popular. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but yeah, this looks pretty good. All right, let's kick out of here. How about everybody does one more game that they're interested in that we see on sale, and then we'll wrap her up. So, G, why don't you pick one on here that you think is looking kind of good?
Shoot. I definitely have heard of No Man's Sky, but I'm not sure if I...
No, that was a major...
I hear it's good now, though.
Fractured Butthole.
Oh, the Fractured Butthole?
Butthole.
Oh, the
yeah, you should play that.
$12. Yeah.
Already have it. I just haven't played it.
2-year-old game for $12. It's worth it.
Yeah,
it's fun as hell. It's hilarious.
Both of the recent South Park turn-based RPGs are not
amazing.
They're not necessarily the end-all be-all RPG or anything, but they're interactive South Park seasons essentially.
Yeah.
And highly entertaining.
Mm-hmm. If you want to laugh your ass off, that's a good one.
Especially if you're a fan of South Park in the first place. That's awesome.
All right. Don't Starve Together is 60% off at $6. It's the second from the bottom there. I have heard really good things about that. I don't know if it actually plays well since I haven't played it, and everything I keep expecting to be good kind of bites me in the ass, but I think that's going to be worth your $6. Check it out. All right, Chris, you go ahead and...
I'm actually probably going to grab The Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's on like the top of my list. But I saw Wolfenstein 2 for $20 on there.
Yeah.
No.
Colossus.
I didn't get 20 hours out of it.
Wow.
And I paid $60 for it.
Well,
Ooh.
I don't think my question will change your answer, but I mean the dollar per hour thing is a decent benchmark. I don't think it's the end all be all.
Correct.
Do you think at $20 someone who really loves that franchise could get that money out of it?
Yeah, like if they really wanted to play it, yeah, go for it, because from like a visual standpoint, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It is gorgeous. Looks beautiful. It's just short. And leaves you with more to be desired.
Sorry, I just noticed there's a game called Chinese Parents.
Sign me the fuck up.
What the fuck?
Several Chinese characters / Chinese parents. All right, I'll bite. $7.
It's what?
For
$7? I
$7?
thought it was $5.
English language not supported.
Oh my god, so you'd have to play.
The description is all in, I presume,
there's
Mandarin.
A cute Chinese anime girl.
And it's...
Oh, man.
Yep, that's about what I expected.
Is it probably just another clicking simulator?
I mean, it kind of looked like it, but all I could tell was it was in Chinese 100%.
That we know for sure.
Far Cry Primal for $10. As someone who's been meaning to play the entire series, and this is the only game I have not picked up, that's fairly enticing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to wait because I have several other games to play in that series. Almost all of them.
There's a Train Simulator 2019.
Uh-oh.
But Far Cry Primal looks sweet. And if you haven't played any like those games, $10, I'm willing to bet is a good price point from what I've seen.
Oh, shit. Thronebreaker The Witcher Tales? What the hell is that?
We might need
could be like a spinoff.
Yeah, looks it.
Oh, man. This looks almost like a CD project.
Set in the world of The Witcher, yep. The Witcher, by the way, is a large series of books, and that's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the second book is like roughly where the games pick up, if I'm not mistaken. And there's like minor variation. But yeah, this is a spin-off game within the Witcher series. Looks like the main character.
Fuck, this looks cool.
It's a card game.
What?
Partly anyway.
Partly top-down action. I don't know what's going on here, but this is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm a little puzzled. I can't tell if the cards are like a
adventure RPG card game and story rich, and it looks like that Telltale style of art.
So like there's an overworld and you're actually like fighting enemies, but the fights themselves are like a card game from the look of it.
Huh.
Interesting. Well, if you're a big fan of The Witcher and you have an extra $22.50 burning a hole in your pocket, down from $30, okay, maybe. It seems a little pricey for me, especially since you guys are playing a free-to-play Magic the Gathering card game. But certainly looks intriguing.
All right. There was one thing on the last screen that I wanted to talk about, and it's the Hunter.
Team Fortress 2 is free to play now, so that's fun as shit.
Here is the Hunter Call of the Wild, 33% off. It's like a beautiful world where you actually go and hunt animals, and I don't think it's super goofy or hammed up. It actually looks like a lot of fun. And part of the appeal, when I actually do go in the woods, is how beautiful the landscape is, and it seems like they capture that pretty well in this game. So I've been trying to pick it up and see if modern day hunting games are any fun at all, and this seems like my most likely roll of the dice. So
good.
$14. I'm going to go ahead and give it a try.
It looks pretty sharp.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Unless you have anything you want to touch on.
I think, Fallout 4 is on here for $15.
Middle-earth Shadow of War for
20 maybe.
There's a lot of good shit here. If you haven't checked Steam and you happen to catch this before 1 p.m. On February 11th Eastern time, do that. I do want to take a look at one more thing here because we sort of mentioned the Lunar New Year sale. There are I think specific games under this. We could I know we already burned a lot of time doing this. Some of this will be overlap, but just a real quick skim of this. There is a gimmick here where if you purchase $30 or more under the game is applicable under this sale, you get $5 off that order. And then if you continue to buy, you earn these tokens, which are only good for the duration of this sale. And you can actually continue to get additional $5 off coupons by making additional purchases, and then you can apply that $5 to yet another purchase. So you got to kind of be ready to burn a lot of money on games right now, which I certainly did burn some money, and I'm going to burn a little bit more, but not enough to merit it a second time. But $5 off of 30 off the first shot is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's on top of all these sales, that are going on. So you could pick up Dark Souls 2 and 3, for example, for roughly $35 and only pay $30.
This is one of
DLC.
Oh shit, Mud Runner's on sale. I've been waiting for that to come back.
Mud Runner, $12.49.
Yeah. Oh, dog.
Yeah. So there's a lot of shit under here. Kingdom Come for half off, $30, which I've heard mixed things, some good about. Here's games by Chinese developers, including Chinese parents, which is again Chinese only. That'd be pretty amusing to attempt to get through.
I don't even know what kind of game it is. It almost looks like a
puzzle game.
Yeah.
We already looked at it.
So here's the thing. If you go on and you get excited about the sales that are on right now, you don't necessarily have to buy them. If you get excited and you listen and the sale's already over, still go on and go through these games that you heard that enticed you. Put them on your watch list because you will get emails the next time they go on an incredible sale, and then you don't have to miss them.
Yeah.
That's the thing about these Steam sales. You don't really ever have to buy anything at full price because in 30 minutes they'll come up with the Mercury passing close to the Earth sale. But
Mercury,
yeah,
leaving its orbit,
exactly,
passing close to the Earth.
It just starts.
All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us.
Creeping along in space
through another episode. That was a lot of fun talking about the Steam sale. I mean, there's always something enticing. Look for us to adjust our release time to a few hours earlier on Sundays, so you get a little bit more of a build up to these sales. You'll probably be able to catch the episode by 5 p.m. most weekends now. But as always, don't forget to never but forever switch what? Cog and lock and rockin', baby. Pom 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 pom. Boop boop.